Coming up on Mobile Learning in the Classroom, Project Noah. Hi, I'm Zoe, and today on Mobile Learning in the Classroom, we're going to look at Project Noah. So Project Noah is a biology website, and it has several different things going on in it, and I haven't explored all of the features yet, but you go through and it's things that other educators, other students have curated. So they go out into their environment and they take pictures of bugs, of plants, of other living organisms, and then they post the picture and they talk about what it is. And as you can see as I'm scrolling through, they say where they are. So you can see different wildlife in different parts of the world. So in Malaysia, there's a something-nosed monkey. There's a jumping spider from Malaysia. And then in Costa Rica, there's a tree frog. So one of the things you can do as a teacher is you can set up a classroom. And within your classroom, you can set up different quests. So if you're doing a unit on bugs, you could set up a quest for your students where they had to go out and find bugs, maybe identify them. Maybe you have a list of bugs and it's a scavenger hunt and they work in groups and they take their phones, because this is also an app they can put on their phones or on their tablets. They go outside and they try to find bugs, and then you come back in and you could do a web quest and have them identify different features. And then there are also missions that you can just join that have been set up. So we're going to look at this global schoolyard blitz. And again, it's kind of cool because it's interactive. It gets your kids out there taking pictures. They can see what they have in their own backyard. They can see what there is in their community, and then they can kind of compare it to see what other places have. So while that's loading, we'll go ahead and we'll look through a little bit more. So when they take pictures, if you don't know what it is, you can put it up here, and then other people can come along and look at the picture and try to help you identify what it is. So your students can become part of this larger educational community and see it's kind of a cool looking bug. And see what is happening other places. It shows you a map on the right hand side so they can see where it is in the world, so you can sort of tie it to geography. And again, you could build larger lessons around, like, why would these sorts of living creatures be in this region, and what would they eat? Why would they live there and not somewhere else? If you go to an existing mission, this one is one where it's collecting and sharing wildlife observations from schoolyards around the world. So this would be a really easy way in to sort of expose your students to what's going on and how it operates, and they just would go and take pictures of what they see in the schoolyard. I mean, I remember finding ladybugs and ants and flies, and then watching the kids run away from bees, and that's how I learned that there were people that could be allergic to bees. I just knew that they hurt if they stung you, and then they died, and felt kind of sad about that, but it was confusing because they also stung me. So, but then you can go and see what other people find. And we also had garter snakes in my schoolyard, and we would try to figure out if the hole was from irrigation or if a snake was living in there. So again, it can be a really fun way for your students to go out and identify what they already have, and then you could compare it to what they're finding in other schoolyards around the world. Because I'm pulling up a picture here of a bird. I think it's a bird, yeah. We didn't really have things that look like that in my schoolyard. So again, really cool way to get them thinking about species and talking about animals and science. And again, this doesn't have to be, sort of a lesson in itself. It can be an extension of something. It's a way to get them out and engaged. And you can invite, so within the school section, you can have different classes. So you can have a different sort of project for each class. So if you have like freshmen that are studying one thing, you could have them looking at something, or if you're in elementary school, you could have your 6th graders looking at something different than, say, the 5th graders. And as a school, you can collaborate and see sort of what the students are learning as they progress through. It'd be a really cool way to have sort of the program follow the students as they progress through, sort of what they're seeing when they're in the earlier years versus the types of things they're identifying in the later years, and it gives them something to look forward to. And because you could have them look at the things that the 5th graders are finding, and when you're in 1st grade, that might be really cool. And plus it's visual, it's highly visual, and they get to, again, see what's going on in other countries. So if you have them, I remember in junior high we had to do a country assignment. Maybe you tag this on as part of that and have them figure out, based on what they can find in this website, what bugs live in other countries, what creatures are in other regions, and have that tie into a larger maybe social studies lesson. So what I like about this is how it does sort of allow you as an instructor to sort of cross that line between biology and science to maybe some social studies elements. It's collaborative, it's visual, it has your students out there engaging with their own environment, and they get to have some fun with it. Again, watching, especially with the younger students, watching them out there trying to find bugs. It's a great way to get them out there, and then they get to see what's going on around the world. So they're part of this larger world community that's also going out and exploring and identifying and doing the same sorts of things. So I'm Zoe, and this has been Project Noah on mobile learning in the classroom. See ya.